Welcome to a special bonus episode of the Live Up podcast where we're going to critique Wait, Don't Tell Me.
How dare
Now,
we?
Jess is acutely aware that I just had a business trip to Chicago and impulsively went to a recording of Wait, Don't Tell Me, and it was fascinating, but not for the reasons I expected. For context, when we were in college, I once went to a taping of Prairie Home Companion with my family.
Really?
This was another way we tortured my youngest sister Lydia with this, because we still talk about how much she hated Prairie Home Companion. And that show was done live. They used to record it as they were playing it live over NPR, and it was tightly rehearsed and it was flawless, and they didn't screw up at all.
Really?
Which must have taken a lot of rehearsal.
That is impressive.
There were a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
like the band would sweep on and they'd play it just the right time, and then they'd be gone, and the actors would come on and they'd do their lines and then sweep them out, and the band would play again. And yeah, it was just seamless. And then I remember being really impressed that Garrison Keillor did the whole Lake Wobegon monologue from memory with no script at all. He just walked around the stage with a microphone. So cut to me going to Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is not aired live. They pre-record it, they edit the heck out of it, and then they release it about a day and a half later. And oh my God, those screw ups going on this show.
I'm giving Amanda a look right now.
I had to start texting. Yeah, I immediately started texting Jess because you don't get to hear it as much as we do it, but there are so many screw ups as we're recording the Live Up pod. And we just, assumed we're new at this. We're, getting better, but there's still multiple episodes where Jess can't get through that introduction without re-recording it maybe 4 times.
The yips are real, man. I know when you texted me that the hosts, that Carl Sagan was getting the yips, I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. So the recording of Wait, Don't Tell Me, it was way longer than our typical podcast reporting, and their episodes are so much shorter than our typical podcast recording. Yeah, we were there almost 2.5 hours for this recording.
Yeah.
And right off
they
the
should
bat,
hire us.
They really, that's what they're missing. They would be so much more successful if they could only bring us on. Just some quick highlights, from the get-go. Bill Kurtis and Peter Sagal came out and were reading off of scripts, and they just had to keep doing multiple takes because they kept tripping on words the same way we do.
That makes me feel so much better.
I know, me too. It was like, wow, I'm watching them screw up over and over again, and they're the professionals. Yeah. They're the highest standard I can think of. And at the very end of the show, they wrapped it, they thanked the audience, and they said, okay, please hang on for 2 minutes. And the producers came out and handed them a list of everything they said wrong. And they just had to re-record all those random sentences in rapid succession.
My first job in TV was live sports coverage and live highlights. And you got to do it. They screw up, but it actually is so much respect for that, because even in the screw ups, then they do the same thing at the end for the re-airs of the highlight shows. The poor director hands the talent a script of all their fuck ups, and they have to redo it. So sometimes they're re-recording highlights and things like that. And I'm sure they do that now for the internet and things like that. And it's a pain in the ass. But yeah, for people who could do this live is really impressive, I think.
That's so
not us, and not Wait, Don't Tell Me.
The ability to trip on a word and then just smoothly say, excuse me, correct yourself, and move on. That's a skill. That was something I was expecting from Wait, Don't Tell Me, and they don't do it that way.
I think they need lessons from us. I should just post a totally raw episode with no editing, and people would be like, unsubscribe.
I don't know about that. The episode I watched them record, one of the sponsors was a woman dedicating the episode to her husband, and both of them had the most difficult to pronounce Jewish Yiddish names. And they made Bill Kurtis re-record the ad that appeared on the radio probably 6 or 7 times.
Oh my God.
He just could not pronounce these names.
But also you probably get the yips too. Once you start mispronouncing, you can never get it back. It's
At one point they made a joke you're terrible at Polish, Bill. I don't know if they were Polish names. I think the man's name he was trying to pronounce was Moishe, but it's not spelled that way, right?
That's just impossible.
Yeah, so there was a Q&A after, and they were like, what's the hardest conversation you've ever had on this show? And Bill Kurtis was like, Moishe. Couldn't say the name. Some other things I wasn't expecting is the callers completely fail the questions the first time around, and they didn't show how many takes the callers got multiple attempts before they got it right. And then when I listened to it on Saturday, they edited it right down, made the callers sound really smart.
Yeah, I need to listen.
They were screwing up as well. And then there's one of the panelists, I'm not going to say which one it was because she's a frequent flyer on the show, but she out-talked everybody else, did 60 to 70% of the talking with these kind of winding, purposeless stories that didn't really have a joke set up, but just needed to jump in and get her voice heard. Not knocking that, but like when they edit it down, it sounded like she just landed a few zingers and barely talked at all. Like they cut so much of what she said because it just wasn't funny or it wasn't the right appropriate joke for that moment. And then they were also like the same way you have to listen to us talk about like furries on multiple episodes because we don't bother to cut that. Yeah. But Wait, Don't Tell Me also goes down those weird paths.
I would love it.
And they cut it out immediately.
I would love an after dark version of Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Oh my God, that would be
so
amazing.
Good.
This episode heard the taping right after Kamala Harris went on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and Peter Sagal kept calling it Call Me Daddy. And said it a few times, and finally one of the panelists corrected him, and there was this whole series of jokes about like, are you just too used to saying that? And then they went off this whole tangent about Peter Sagal's sex life. They had to cut that whole thing.
You know the editors in the back going, God damn
it. You guys are so perverted. Stop it. This is NPR.
I mean, if they got to take multiple takes, damn, we're practically professionals, Amanda.
We're professionals. That was my takeaway, that the Live Up podcast is actually just as professional as Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is to say that Wait, Don't Tell Me is just as unprofessional as the Live Up podcast. Yay!
And you were part of a special, was it a Thanksgiving episode?
No, so they recorded this week's episode and then they said, hey, we're going to do one of those clip shows for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So everyone just pretend it's Thanksgiving, and they did all of the intro bits like, hey, back in April, we talked to so-and-so about this, but we're super thankful for stuffing right now. And the whole audience clapping.
I like listening to their wrap-up episode, to their holiday episodes. Well, I'll put the links to the episodes that you were present for in the episode notes of this bonus pod. So if folks want to go and imagine Amanda in the audience and feeling really smug about how she doesn't fuck up as much, then you could go do that.
Yes. And please listen for, you will hear Peter Sagal saying, call me daddy instead of call her daddy.
Oh, I can't wait. I
edit that part out ultimately. They cut out the whole part where they were making jokes about him having wild sex and yelling call me daddy, but they kept
it. Love it. Not NPR friendly.
Yes, check out the notes, check out Wait, Don't Tell Me. Also a great show, but you know, on the level with Live Up.
I mean, listen to us first.
Well, that's your behind the scenes on another radio show / podcast, Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Well, that was our bonus episode about Amanda's field trip to Wait, Don't Tell Me. And since we talked about all the screw-ups, I thought it would be fun to treat you to all of my recent screw-ups for our introduction. So enjoy. Welcome to the Live Up podcast. Fuck. Welcome to... No, even fucking welcome is... Shut up. Okay.
So today we are jamming radars. We are combing the desert, and we are... Screwed up my
you know what? Let me actually do a little bit of mine because I screwed up too.
Okay, wait.
I'm going to start with quick note on how this will go. We'll review, discuss, and score whether the movie in question lives up to us today as adults and whether it lives up. Fuck you, Jess. We will review, discuss, and score the movie in question to see if it lives up to us to... Should I just fucking leave it?
Not even drunk.
I have the yips, I could tell.